Well, hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Julia Royston of BK Royston Publishing, Royal Media and Publishing, and the coaching community. The Book Business Balls is helping you get your message to the masses, turn your words into wealth. So, this is the day that the Lord had made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. And of course, this is the time of year that a shawl may be may be necessary. The climate has changed, the seasons have changed, and I trust that you're going to make the adjustment and have the right clothes on and the right things in your spirit and the right things in your mind and the right things in your body and the right things around you and the right people around you so that you can walk into your next. Well, he hasn't let us get off of forward yet. So today we're going to be talking about uncomfortable after yes to forward. You're uncomfortable. So you said yes. Yay. Congratulations. Awesome. So proud of you. But what happens next? So I remember when it's been, I guess, at least 22, almost 23 years ago. I left my home church and God was telling me how I had to go. And it was the most uncomfortable time in my entire life, leaving everything that I ever knew, um, comfort, people that was born with, people that I had known, but God was leading me to another place. I had a friend who said, I hope he allows you to come back. I said, well, if you pray, maybe he will. But right now, I have to listen to him. That was probably one of the most difficult times in my life. And some of you may be experiencing that same thing. Um, you hear God and he's telling you to move and go forward, but he's not giving you any specifics. So when people ask you, so where you going? I don't know. Well, what are you doing? I don't know. Do you need a letter, a recommendation? No, because I don't even know where to tell you to send it. Because that was clearly one of those times where I was in the dark. And it was one step at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 day at a time. So it was very, very uncomfortable to say the least. But I had said yes to God. I had said yes to moving forward. It was uncomfortable. My parents like, we got you. It doesn't matter, pretty much what you do, unless it's something, criminal activity, unethical or immoral. But okay, we really can't advise you. And sometimes that's one of the main things that God is seeking to do in the yes and without the specifics and now without precedent. And now, Big Mama did it and Uncle this one did it and Auntie whatever, and that family left and that I had no precedent. So number one, it um, demanded that I number one stay connected to God, and I think that's part of the reason for it all. How much do you really love me? How obedient to me are you? Are you obedient and more loyal to your comfort zone? Are you more loyal to the church you attend, the denomination, the conferences, your position on national staff, your position on state staff? Would you leave it? Would you give it all up for me? And that was a huge test. And so, therefore, when I said, okay, God, I trust you, I love you more than anything, but I had to stay connected to him. It required that it just not be on the fringe. And because we've been together since they brought me to the altar at 6 weeks old connection. It was tight. It was really super tight. In that, you know, it was hard to know who to trust, who not to trust. It was a very, very difficult season in my life, but it allowed me to be able to hear God's audible voice clearly for myself. Because when you've been raised in an environment where, the rules and regulations, and they tell you, and they, the leading and guide, and they tell you, you got to do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. It's pretty clear. But when you stay connected to God, and when you're out of that comfort zone and you're forward in an area that is unknown, unfamiliar. You have to stay connected to God because He's got to tell you to go right. He's got to tell you to go left. He's got to tell you to go up. He's got to tell you to go down and all around, stand still, whatever. So therefore, it's unfamiliar but uncomfortable. So when it's unfamiliar and then it's uncomfortable, like you don't know these people, you don't know the culture, you don't know even the protocol over here. You know the protocol where you came from, and some of that you always will have with you, like the way I dressed, where I went, what I did. But then who's who are the leaders, who so you're as I say, you're esteeming everyone, whether you know that they're a leader or you don't. I mean, you don't have a clue. And then you don't also have the connections to what family. I can go back generations and I knew his daddy, and I knew in this uncomfortable, new, unfamiliar place. Well, I didn't know none of that. I didn't have no clue about that. And then from where I was to where I was coming, the unfamiliar, uncomfortable place in the new forward, they knew of my family, but my family name meant absolutely nothing. The new place, they were connected to my married name, my Royston name, as opposed to my maiden name, which was Ford. So therefore, sometimes that new place is required a new name, a new, and most of them, they knew that I sang and everything, but they didn't connect me with music as much as they connected me with publishing and books. Or, so therefore it's unfamiliar, but it's definitely uncomfortable. But here's the hope. Number 3, you're in the will of God. Ugh. No matter how you feel, no matter how it looks, no matter how, and if you step on people's toes, people step on your toes, people make you feel welcome or they make you feel uncomfortable. No matter what, that's the reassurance. That's the thing you have to really hold on. Your connection to God and knowing I'm right where He says I'm supposed to be. I've never been here before. I don't have a clue what this is supposed to look like, be like. It feels horrible. I don't know none of these people. These people don't really know me, but I have to treat them right. I have to smile. I have to be me and figure out what that looks like. And I have to glean what I'm supposed to glean, be this new person in this, and part of my old person. And it was awful. Parts of it was terrible. But I knew down in my knower, the old folks say down in my shando, that I was in the will of God. And that's all I had. That's really, besides the word, the spirit down in me, His voice, and that's all I had. Now I had the support of my parents. My sisters was like, "What?" But and a lot of my family was like, "What done happened? Where'd she go?" Because I'm the least likely to be a maverick, to going in forward into some place that hasn't been tested, tried, and true, and what, and has no precedent, and there's not a trail being blazed, and the clues weren't left. It was just me and God. But I was in His will. So don't think about that. The safest place in the whole wide world is in the will of God. No matter how it's chaotic, no matter how it's confusing, you're in God's will. And then He promised never to leave us nor forsake us. He would be with us through 6 trouble, 7 trouble. He'd never leave us. He would never forsake us. He's given that paraclete, the Holy Spirit down in us, that is a comforter to comfort us and lead us and to guide us into all truth. That's what we got. And we're getting back to that. That's all we've got. That's what you got. That's the main thing you have. You have His word. You have His power on the inside. You have His leading and guiding, the comforter that He left when Jesus went back on a cloud from after being risen from the dead and after the crucifixion. That's what we got. The will of God. That's what we got. His will, his word, his way. That's all we got. So know that no matter how uncomfortable it is after you said yes to forward, all right, I'm going, hon, I'm going with Jesus. I'm going with Jesus. Where is Jesus going? And where is he leading you to? You have no clue. It's a wonderful choir song. But baby, when he gets you out there, that walk by faith and in the desert and in the Jesus led of the devil, led of this Holy Spirit to be tempted of the devil in the wilderness. Oh my gosh. Who knew? Really? If Jesus can go in there, what do you think about us? So therefore, we're in the will of God. We're in the safe place. And then when you say yes to God and you're in his will, realize back is not an option. Going back, once you've said yes to forward, back is not an option. Now, have I ever gone back to my home church? Sure. To visit. Have I ever, seen people that I knew from years ago? Sure. I've traveled, I've seen them. Hi, how you doing? But as far as back to that place, no, because back is not an option. I remember when in the Bible where it talks about the Adam and Eve, they were thrown out of the garden after disobeying God. God put the flaming swords in front, and they rotated constantly so they couldn't get back in. I remember I was at a Fortune 500 company, and I really enjoyed that job. I really liked it. I was learning a lot, but God said it was time for me to go home. And I'm like, I am home. I left 5 minutes for my job. He said, come on, big girl, now. You know what I'm talking about. So I had to pack my things slowly but surely. Pack my things, find a job, take a job, pay cut, and leave. And as soon as I left, I was like, okay, I did it. Good. Trying to bargain. Lord have mercy. Trying to bargain with God. I get home and I'm there, and this is like going 100 miles an hour. And now I'm a librarian to high school girls. Are you for real? And then they asked me to teach the technology class. And I'm like, I'm not staying. In my mind, I didn't say it out loud, but in my mind, I'm like, I'm not staying here. 10 years I was there. Because probably about year 2, after I had been there year 1, I said, all right, now I'm going to try to get back to my old job. They completely dismantled the entire department. Did you hear what I said? Completely dismantled the department. So there was my flaming swords. I had no department to get back in. He meant that. And when he said leave, he meant leave. And when he said you're not going back, so back to me in that situation was not an option. Some of you listening to me, back is not an option. And then finally, remember, we want to, I always want to bargain. Okay, once I say yes, then I'm going to get the plan. I'm going to get the goals, the objective. And he's like, big girl, come on. Remember, it's a journey. And them old songs, as I get older, and we'll understand it better by and by. Ooh, by and by. Oh Lord, when the morning comes. And I always think them songs is good for funerals and all that. But some of them songs is not just for funerals. Some of them songs are for now. We not just when we cross over, we will tell the story how we overcome, and we'll understand it better by and by. Some of that by and by is why we still here, why he still give us breath in our body, and old folks say the blood is yet warming in our veins. Remember, it's a journey. It's not a sprint. It's not a hop. It's not oh, I got here. Yay. Now we can go back and do what we like and do. Nope. It's a journey. Keep moving. Keep going forward. It's uncomfortable after you say yes to God and say yes to his forward. But it's the safest place in the whole wide world to be in his will. It may be scary. It may look scary, but keep moving, keep walking, keep going, because you're in his will. And the race isn't given to the swift, nor the battle to the strong. But he that endured to the end, the same shall be saved. I trust that helps you today. I trust that blesses you and helps you on your journey, and it helps you on your way. Coming up at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is Live Your Best Life. Envision-radio.com, simple radio app to listen, audacitytuner.com, mytuner, radio.garden, Get Me Radio Media U, and please download the free app on the Google Play Store. iTunes will get to you later. Right now, it's all about the Android nation. Yay! Live your best life where praise meets talk 24/7 on envision-radio.com. Coming up, my special guest, Ms. Tanya Caesar, who is a recording artist, motivational speaker, and she'll bless your life. And that's at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, to my African brothers and sisters, it is aired at 3 p.m. West Africa time. So I trust everything is blessing you. This past week was National Youth Day in Nigeria. So I trust that you all celebrated the youth, which is your future and the next generation and destiny. Also, be sure and check out Cheryl Underwood's church shout out line and encouragement line. Be sure and shout out your church, pastor, city, and state at 1-855-743-7951 or 855-Cheryl1. And as we continue to, before I go on, at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, she is the host of Spiritual Nourishment, also heard on envision-radio.com from 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check out all the programming at envision-radio.com 24/7. Wonderful music, fantastic programming, and informative programming, as well as some wonderful specials. Also, if you're looking for holiday gifts and upcoming for the holiday, especially children's books, go to JuliaRoystonStore.com, as well as inspirational materials, as well as devotionals to help people get started on the upcoming new year. So visit JuliaRoystonStore.com. Also, I have 100 Ways in 100 Days. We're way less than 100 days. We're now on the less than 60 days to the end of 2021. It's moving right along. Time is waiting for no man. So feel free to go to the Book Business Boss page on Facebook and like us and follow us for 100 days, 100 ways. So for all of my contact information, links to stores, etc., go to solo.to/Julia A. Royston. That's a one-pager that's packed with a lot of information. So look for me in the upcoming months. I'll be in Memphis, Tennessee, the first week in November at the Black Child Book Festival at the Benjamin Hooks Library, sponsored by the 100 Black Women of Memphis, as well as the Deltas. And then also on November 20th, I'll be with the AKAs at their first annual Pearl Up event. And then in December 6th, I'll be in Dallas, Texas, as well with the Black Child Book Festival. So I'm moving around as long as I can safely and soundly, and then I'm going to slide into the holiday season and enjoy it at home. So I look forward to seeing you all soon. Feel free to reach out to me at solo.to/Julia A. Royston. And if you're interested in publishing a book, let's have a conversation at talkwithroyston.com. I'm Dr. Julia Royston, helping you get your message to the masses, turn your words into wealth, be a book business boss, and live your best life.